Today on Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the big matchup coming up here in Week 3 of this 2021 college football season. And it's going to be over the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Florida Gators, two major SEC contenders in this 2021 season. And I'd also say two big national contenders. You got Alabama on one side, who is by far the most dominant team in the nation right now, as they beat up Miami huge in Week 1, and they also had a huge win over Mercer last weekend with absolutely no problem. So Alabama is on a roll right now. Meanwhile, for Florida's off to a great start as well. Quarterback situation is a little bit questionable for Florida, but overall, not a bad start for the Gators, and they're at home in this matchup. It's going to be in the Swamp, and the Gators are going to have a chance to pull off a major upset here in Week 3. So that being said, we'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this game here today, starting out with your team trends. Both teams are ranked in the top 15. Florida is nearly a top 10 team. In my rankings, I've got them in the top 10, I believe at number 9. But of course, the AP poll has them at number 11 as of right now. But with a win here, Florida certainly will jump into the top 5. That's just about a guarantee. I mean, if you look at Oregon, they beat Ohio State, and they're in the top 4. So, of course, looking at Alabama, though, they did beat Mercer last week, 48-14. Just an easy game there. I mean, they had really no issues at all. And, I mean, for a team like Alabama, that's a game that's pretty much just a given. But yeah, they're 2-0, two-game winning streak overall. Solid start for Alabama. For Florida, they beat South Florida 42-20. I mean, it wasn't very close. I mean, it was within 3 touchdowns, but overall not a bad win out of Florida there. They're 2-0, also with a 2-game winning streak. Alabama is ranked 1st. Florida is ranked 11th. Game will be on Saturday, September 18th in Gainesville, so Florida will be the home team here. And that's the main advantage that the Gators do have in this matchup, is that it is in Gainesville, so the Gators are the home team here. And they do have Alabama in a pretty tough spot. I mean, if you look at Florida and their home field advantage, I mean, the Swamp is a very tough place to play. So for Alabama, that's the main thing you got to be concerned about. I mean, Alabama, I think it's safe to say they've got by far more talent than this Florida team, and they're playing better than this Florida team. I mean, as they should. Alabama is obviously the big dynasty of college football right now, but Florida does have the home field advantage in this matchup. Spread currently says Alabama by 15.5, over-unders 58, and the ESPN FPI is going Alabama 71%. Series history, Crimson Tide have had more success. 26-14 is the current record of this matchup. Win streak is Alabama by 7, so the Crimson Tide have won 7 straight matchups against Florida, and they're also 8-2 in their last 10 matchups. So obviously, the Tide have had a much better success rate against Florida in the past decade. Looking at your stat comparison, these are over the past 2 games so far in this 2021 season. Alabama's got 46 points per game, 13 points allowed, 310 pass yards a game. Speaking of which, Bryce Young has just been outstanding. I mean, for him being a freshman, I mean, in his first starting season as a quarterback for an Alabama program, I mean, he's done very well. And I think Bryce Young is already an outstanding quarterback for sure. And he's definitely got a very bright future ahead of him. I mean, 310 pass yards in the first 2 games, that's an average, and that's pretty outstanding. 152 rush yards a game, 173 pass yards allowed, 77 rush yards allowed. As for Florida, 30 points per game, 17 points allowed, 228 pass yards, 381 rush yards. So Florida is very powerful when it comes to the rushing game right now. And they also got 224 pass yards allowed, 100 rush yards allowed. So obviously for Florida, I mean, their rushing game is done just fine. That is for sure. You got a couple of really talented running backs who are taking a big workload right now, and they've done a great job. But for the quarterback situation, obviously Emory Jones, I mean, he's probably I'd say the most ideal quarterback to start. I mean, he looked like the most talented quarterback from the start, but I mean, his start has not been the best. His touchdown-interception ratio currently is 2-4. Looking at some key points for this matchup, obviously both teams are 2-0. Alabama is the most dominant team in the nation by far so far. I mean, if you look at Alabama and how they just completely destroyed Miami in the first week, I mean, that just explains how talented of a team Alabama is this season. Bryce Young, been absolutely outstanding. Really no complaints out of him. I mean, he's been very consistent over the past couple of games. Really very few mistakes by him, and he's done very well for being a young quarterback. Only challenger is going on the road for Alabama. Once again, Crimson Tide have got more talent. They're playing overall better than Florida, but the only problem is going on the road. That's the only challenge that Alabama really has in this matchup. Florida quarterback situation is complicated as of now. Once again, Anthony Richardson, your top running back, he's played outstanding. He's done a very good job over the past couple of weeks, and he's going to be a huge weapon for the Gators going against a very tough Alabama defense. Home field advantage will make a difference. I mean, once again, Florida, tough place to play, so you got a decent advantage there being at home in this matchup against an extremely talented Alabama team. And I mean, if you look at Alabama and how much they lost after the 2020 season, I mean, it looked like Alabama could potentially be a team that could potentially miss the top 4 of the college football playoff at the end of the season. But Alabama right now, just looking at their first couple of weeks, I mean, this team is young. This Alabama team is kind of young right now, but they've got so much talent. They're playing so well. I mean, Alabama, I wouldn't be surprised to see Alabama at this rate win another 3 national championships in consecutive years. I mean, that's how talented the Crimson Tide are right now, and Bryce Young just solidifies that statement. So Alabama, extremely tough team to beat, and Florida, they're gonna have to play very well in this matchup if they're gonna get the win. But that being said, let's get to the prediction for this matchup. Alabama, Florida, it's gonna be close. I'm gonna say it's a close matchup here between Alabama and Florida. It's on the road. Should be a very fun one here, but I'm going to give Alabama the win, 34-27. The main thing is with Alabama here is they've had so much success against Florida, and really, I mean, until Florida finally beats Alabama, I mean, once again, as you saw earlier, Alabama has beaten Florida 7 straight times. So, I mean, until Florida is able to beat Alabama, I just don't see a reason to believe or predict that Florida is going to beat Alabama, especially in this matchup. I mean, Crimson Tide are so talented right now. Bryce Young is only getting better. I mean, Alabama, this is a very major dynasty in college football right now, and any loss that they take, I mean, it's got to be close, and it's going to be against a really good team. And I think, I mean, Florida's going to keep it close. I think this team does pretty well. 34-27 is the final score. Once again, Crimson Tide, too talented of a team right now. Probability, Alabama 60%, so I'm going to keep it kind of close there. I do think Florida definitely has a chance to win this game, but I mean, once again, it comes down to Alabama's talent, and Alabama's just too talented of a team right now. Over-under's 58. I'm taking the over in this matchup. I've got 61 total points, but this game, definitely be cautious if you're betting the over-under, because it could easily go under as much as it could go over. I mean, if Alabama scores above 30 points, I mean, that's definitely probable though that Alabama will score more than 30 points. So keep that in mind. But yeah, my prediction 34-27 for this matchup. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below though on this game, and I appreciate you guys all watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you guys later.